the money you deploy is small. It's more gamification. You explore. Sometimes you lose money. Sometimes you gain money. It is more of play money, and it allows you to experiment with it. I don't think at the age of 22, 23, 24, you would really need to get into very serious financial planning because you haven't reached that level yet. Really, after a certain age, when responsibilities grow and the money amount grows, when you have more to lose, that's when you really require the help of advice. How much money am I willing to lose? Because once again, at that age, I'm investing because I want to go on a trip with my friends. I'm investing because I want to buy a new gadget. So even if you don't get there, and suppose you lose the money and you don't end up buying that gadget or don't end up going for a trip, it's not a life-changing decision. There's one goal you will not get any loan, and that is your retirement. So your most boring and your longest investment should be towards your retirement. So as long as you limit to that. The second piece of advice I would do within this experimentation, leave technology out. AI is a very loosely used word today. That's right. A lot of AI is nothing but a chatbot, and there is no artificial intelligence involved. There can be a lot of natural stupidity involved in that, and you have to be very careful about that. So AI
Use your intelligence at least. Music, AI. Maps, AI. Newsfeed, AI. Flight prices and hotel deals, AI. Food delivery routes and ETAs, AI. Dating matches, AI. Investments, should it be AI too? The money is math, but wealth is behavior. Tech reads data, a coach reads you. Today, we decode Bionic Split, where algorithms meet human judgment. Welcome to On The Point, where we cut through the noise and ask questions that truly matters in your life. To decode this Bionic Split, where technology meets human touch, we have someone who has been building that bridge long before it became a buzzword. He's the founder and CEO of FinEdge, a firm that combines tech innovation with real human insight, making goal-based investing accessible for thousands of Indians. So let's welcome Harsh Gahlaut, founder and CEO of FinEdge. Welcome to On The Point. It's great to have you here.
Thank you very much, Brajesh. So nice to see you after a long time.
Wonderful, wonderful. So let's get straight on the point. In this age of AI, everything is app-based, literally, So do you think the human touch, especially when it comes to the investment advisory, it's becoming irrelevant?
See, I'll tell you what, technology will continue evolving. It has for the last 20 years, and I think the same questions came up when computers came in, that it will diminish what people do, but it actually enhances that. I think as we have more and more technologies seeping into our life, the human connect will grow stronger. So it'll enable people to have more meaningful conversations, to add more value, and take away a lot of work which takes a lot of time away from conversations and communication and context. So I don't really see that any bit of AI or any future technology in the near future at least, which will diminish the role of a human-to-human interaction.
So you're saying that financial advisor's role will continue to be there?
Absolutely. I think the reason for that is the fact that, while technology or AI or algorithms will allow you to detect patterns better, they'll allow you to filter through vast amounts of information, enable you to take better decisions. But at the same time, context can only be established by human beings. So you might know where to invest, but if you don't know why you're investing, the purpose, what needs to be done, the risk, or me really understanding what kind of a person are you? Because what as an investment, what might be great for me might be disastrous for you. And technology cannot differentiate between those two things. So I think advisors will play a more important role. It will also enable them to become far better at their job, at what they do, and to ensure that there is more customization in terms of what is fitment. A right fitment for individual will still happen with the human interactions only. But I think this entire enablement will happen through technology.
But Harsh, अब हम अपने ऑडियंस की जो बात करते हैं, अब obviously Gen Z है. They're saying if AI can plan my portfolios, why do I need a human planner? So which I know, I am also of the, not for this school of thought, that we are pretty old generation from that perspective. We still feel human touch. But I want you to, take us through the basic journey. Why do you think the human planner are still important, though AI can design our portfolios.
It's very difficult to disagree with what Generation Z is saying. Because I'll tell you what, I think there's a right time for everything. And when you're very young, the amount of risks that you can take and the amount of responsibilities that you have is very different when you grow older. So I think even when we were younger, that is the age where you're carefree and you can afford to take a lot more risk and experiment. So honestly, if I was to answer that question, I don't really see a need for a financial advisor for somebody that young. The difference is, for example, if you feel a little ill, you can go ahead and take a paracetamol.
Yes.
You don't really need to go to a doctor. It's only when the seriousness comes in, that's where you realize the importance of getting a human advisor. So this, I think the question itself is difficult to answer, because I don't think at the age of 22, 23, 24, you would really need to get into very serious financial planning, because you haven't reached that level yet. According to me, at that age, that's the time to experiment with money, to really figure out your relationship with money. And that can be done through a lot of experimentation, because the money you deploy is small. It's more gamification. You explore. Sometimes you'll lose money, sometimes you'll gain money. It is more of play money, and it allows you to experiment with it. Really, after a certain age, when responsibilities grow and the money amount grows, you have more to lose. That's when you really require the help of an advisor.
That's what, so हम उसका एक बात करते हैं. Harsh, what is the right age for you? You think that one has to stop experimenting. Now the things are becoming serious. Responsibilities are coming in. What is that age as per you?
Again, I think there is no fixed formula, or for example, somebody, depending on their life situation, might mature very quickly, might behave in terms of responsibility. What a person might do at 30, that person might be doing at 20. So you will have people who will, or also it depends on the kind of maybe financial responsibilities a person has, or the background, or the support system. You will always have people who will be more mature than their age with more responsibilities.
Sure.
So I think it all goes hand in hand. But if you want me to make a generic sort of a statement, ideally around 30 and beyond is when you really need to have a written plan with a clear purpose in front of you, identification, getting your maths right, understanding inflation, understanding your goals, compounding. And then you don't want to play with money at that stage, because your goals are very important. There are other people dependent on you to meet those goals, because otherwise, without money today, it's not easy to have a great lifestyle. So it becomes very, very important.
Absolutely. So that brings, like you just mentioned, that up till age of 30, you can still experiment or whatever. You can still take advice from AI or whatever. Like for an example, systematic investment plans, they are like good to have, and you started without having any advice or whatever. But once the market actually corrects or market falls, who to blame for? Then who will you have to blame for,
See, in the end, people always like to have somebody to blame. It makes life easier. That's one part of it. But I think to a large extent, even today, if you see, this is the age of information. So much of information to a point where it leads to a policy paralysis. You can't really take decisions. So even though, theoretically, the earlier you start a SIP, the better it is. But having said that, I know that's not how life works. And, people will do FNO and people will trade, and there's excitement around that. But yes, sure, there's, in the end, even when you make losses there, you'll probably end up saying, the market is manipulated. You always look for a second person to blame. The truth is, when you come to investing, the fight is between greed and fear. And it's human psychology. Experts have said, when it comes to investing, you are your your own worst enemy, and your own behavior is working against you in terms of investing success. So it's not easy at all. It is very complicated. There is today, when you look at a lot of Instagram or influencers, they've oversimplified this bit. Don't buy a house, invest, but life doesn't work like that. At certain stages of your life, for example, if I ask somebody at 20, become spiritual and start looking at retirement, it doesn't work like that. There is a right time for everything that will happen. But your question, if I was to answer very specifically, I think if you are doing Okay, so the hack today, for example, which I would tell people at when the older generations like us, the hack was not many people knew how to invest. So if you got the right information, you had a hack to investing.
Yes.
Today, there's so much of information.
That's correct.
Everybody thinks that's the hack. You have to think the opposite, because the hack is always what the majority is not doing.
Yeah.
So it is the boring stuff.
Absolutely.
Everybody's thinking short term, think long term. Everybody's thinking excitement, think boring. And that is the hack to all of this. And to a large extent, SIPs are the key to that, because your question again, who do you blame for if markets go wrong? SIPs are built around that. So if you're actually doing a boring SIP, you're averaging out, your chances of being negative are lower, or being marginally,
which means they are good investors.
They should definitely outperform. And if they do idly with these boring investments, you really don't have to look for anybody to blame.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about a little bit in your last reply. You said F&Os and all that. I'm very particular about because I, during that sensitive age, I also felt FOMO and literally put in my hard-earned money into F&O without even understanding what would be the real outcome of it. So what do you think is the right age, I mean, especially for this F&O and all these risky assets or risky portfolio tools, so to say? I feel that there is some handholding is required. People should not literally do experiment with F&Os and all that.
So I have a different take on this. There is no age for F&O.
Okay.
Unfortunately, F&O has been glamorized over the last few years.
Yeah.
And it is very enticing because it gives you leverage, and that leverage has the possibility of making you large amounts of money and also making you lose large amounts of money.
That's correct.
Yeah, so as long as you're doing it with small money, you lose a little bit, it's fine.
Yeah.
But at a serious level, there is no F&O at any age. Futures and options were basically developed for institutional players to hedge.
Yes.
And you really can't go against algorithmic trading as far as F&O is concerned.
Yeah.
I have seen many examples of that. You might, if you're really unlucky, according to me, the unluckiest person in the world is a person who does F&O and makes money in the beginning. It is a recipe for disaster because it makes you euphoric.
Absolutely.
You've now broken the code and I'm the wealthiest person. You start putting more money there, which is leveraged.
Yeah.
And it's just a question of a few more trades when you start losing money.
Yeah, it's like casino, right?
It is, absolutely. And I think there's a saying, the house never loses.
Yeah.
Now, the problem here is if you go to a party or if you go and talk about a casino, you'll hear about that one person who won money at the casino. Yeah. You'll not hear about the thousands who lost money.
Absolutely.
Now, even when I go for social gatherings, I'll always hear this one person talking about how much money he's made on a particular stock. I have never heard somebody saying, I have lost money on 5 stocks.
Yeah.
Nobody does that.
Correct.
Even with that one guy who's talking about how much money he has made, he might have made some money on that particular trade, but he's not going to talk about the fact that he's lost money on the last 5 trades. And he's going to lose money in the next 5 trades.
That's good.
So this is, everybody likes, because see, when you talk about making money, you sound intelligent and you sound cool. So we keep hearing those stories repeatedly. Yeah. But F&O, I mean, the number one rule of successful investing, don't leverage. Don't try to swim against the tide.
Yeah.
If you might be the best swimmer in the world, you try swimming upstream on a powerful river, you will drown. Even if you are swimming downstream, you put your legs first, protect your head. That means your goals are very important. Even if you are swimming downstream, risk is something which is always something which has to be considered. You don't take risk with important goals like your retirement.
Yeah.
You don't take risk against, buying a house.
That's
you don't take risk against your children's education.
Absolutely.
These are not the things that you would gamble with in life. Absolutely. Why would you gamble when it comes to investing?
Hang on. Why I ask this, Harsh, is that because majority of my audience and the show is dedicated to, especially to students, their parents, and even the young salaried or young entrepreneurs. Okay. Because there is a lot of euphoria with regards to quick money.
Yes.
And especially when it comes to stock market. And we know there are 2-3 big apps, it's like spreading this euphoria or getting this. I mean, I'm not saying they're deliberately doing it. It's a buzzword. So that's where I want experienced people like you to kind of give a caution in the wind that why it is important to just calm down, relax, and then, reflect on it.
I don't know. Suddenly in the last 5 years, especially after COVID, this sudden interest in FNO happened. Maybe वो जिंदगी ना मिलेगी दोबारा kind of a moment, and suddenly I need to make money quickly. I think that's where it happened.
Absolutely.
The absolute truth is that the people who are talking about trading or pushing you towards FNO, which is pretty much most brokers that I know of, they make the most money that way. So it is a business model. It's not that they're giving you this advice for charity. Because if you see most of the discount brokers, they charge you very little for delivery-based trades. The real money is in buying and selling frequently and leverage and all of that. And FNO, even if you do end up making money, if you look at the transactional costs, etc., first of all, I've spent my life in this business. I understand the business model. I understand the market to some extent.
Yes.
I can guarantee there's no money to be made in FNO.
It's a big statement.
Except for the excitement, it is as speculative as going to a casino. Now, if you want to enjoy yourself, have fun, sure, you can do that. That itself is a great experience.
Yeah.
But if it is limited to the fact that you're playing with play money, and not really, but it's very difficult, because if you make money, you'll start putting in more money.
Absolutely.
And the feeling that you get, the excitement of making money is fantastic. The problem is when the trades go bad and your portfolio turns negative, then you realize the happiness was nice, but the pain or the hurt is a lot more.
Yeah, it's much longer.
Similar, you've taken an example of FNO. I'm talking about even today more. So what is happening is now the FNO has moved to IPOs.
Yes.
And I'll give you a classic example of what is happening there. People are suddenly this hype around IPOs, so many IPOs coming in.
Yes.
People are, taking part in these IPOs and putting in applications, and they are getting small allotments here and there. Sometimes they get it, sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
Now, the classic case, what is happening is everybody looking for an IPO pop. So that means if it's a good IPO, on the day of listing, it will open up at a premium.
Absolutely.
So everybody will say book profits. So basically, you have sold that off. Now, if you did get allocation another IPO and that did not pop and gave you a negative return, so what's going to happen? You will end up selling all your good IPOs and retailing all the bad ones. So you're slowly building up, because it's very difficult to sell in a loss. So you sit on it.
Absolutely.
And most of them who open on a loss will take a far longer time. So there's an opportunity cost. So basically, you're building a portfolio of garbage. So it is locking in money into bad performing ones, and you are booking profits in the good ones. So it's a horrible strategy.
So the message here is, underlying message here is, don't follow the euphoria, right?
The underlying message is the whole world, this is a beautiful opportunity. The whole world is today oriented towards short term, towards greed, hack, go boring, have lower your expectations, make slow money, because the whole world is looking at fast money.
Slow and steady.
Absolutely.
Right? So be slow and steady.
Wealth can only be created that.
Absolutely.
There is no other way. And I'll give you the maths behind it. In the end, wealth is not created by the amount of money that you put in. Time gives you compounding. And compounding is what creates wealth. It is not the selection of the top performing or tip, a stock, a fund. So many people come to me and say, give me a great fund to invest in. But today I'll tell you what, you Google it, it'll give you a list of top 5.
Absolutely.
That information is accessible to everybody.
Yes.
Then why aren't we seeing multimillionaires? Why aren't everybody we meet on the road, why aren't they making millions? Because information is there for everybody. People are forgetting that it's not just information which makes you money, but behavior.
Yes.
And behavior. These two things are very, very important.
Patience.
Absolutely. Without these two critical ingredients, there is no wealth
to be created. Wonderful, wonderful. So we talked about the AI, and of course, AI is a reality, Harsh. And I think so much amount of information is there. That's also reality, which is a good thing. So what do you think, as for your experience, what part of money management can be automated, and what part is still require human touch and a human maintenance, so to say?
So major portion actually it can be AI enabled. So in terms of selection, processing that information, research, a lot of patterns, what should be done, should not, enforcing discipline can be led by AI. Explaining what you're doing, hand-holding, reinforcing good practices. Also, to a large extent, see empathy. If I am your advisor, and if I don't know your situation, I can never be a great advisor.
Yes.
Obviously, there's a flip side to it. I can be an advisor and I might not have the right intent.
Yes.
That is also
That's
very
also
dangerous.
there. Absolutely.
I might have a great conversation and, I might come across as somebody who really cares about you and I establish trust, but I end up doing things which are totally not in your benefit. That also happens. So I'm not saying that anybody who takes empathy in you is necessarily good, but I'm saying empathy is one part which AI cannot participate in whatsoever.
Yes.
So if you, like I said before, you might, let's say, ask a AI agent today, suggest a great stock or suggest a great fund. It might give you that. What it doesn't understand is what is your mindset. Have you been aligned to that? Because higher returns come with higher risk. I have seen many instances in the past जहाँ पे लोगों ने various DIY platform पे जाके उन्होंने ये भी नहीं पूछा what is your time horizon. Now, for example, when small cap funds were doing very well, all suggestions were small cap, and people were investing for 3 months. के goal objective 3 महीने बाद मेरे को पैसा चाहिए, मैंने एक small cap fund में पैसा डाल दिया. So the context is not there. It's not that the AI is giving you wrong information. You asked AI which is the best performing fund. It gave you the correct answer.
Absolutely correct.
But there is no context to that answer. So intelligence, according to me, and one thing that we are very careful with, for example, we use AI. And one thing which I keep talking to people within the organization is something very simple. The right answers are not intelligence. The ability to ask the right
question is intelligence.
And establishing context, even more so when engaging with the AI. Today we have many cases where AIs hallucinate and give you incorrect answers. But again, it's not the AI's fault. The questions were not right.
Absolutely.
And the amount of intelligence that you need to really ask the right questions, because once again our behavior biases come into play.
Yes.
Our questions are framed in such a way कि उसका एक ही आंसर है, वो आंसर गलत ही है.
Yeah.
और हम फ्रेम ही नहीं कर रहे उसको ठीक तरीके से. So that is a big problem. It's a challenge.
So Harsh, it might sound cliche to you, but मैं अपने audience के लिए पूछूंगा जरूर, because वो student है, I mean, end of the day, and they are taking a lot of interest. Certain question in fact has come from them, and with your show we will start announcing their name so that I encourage more students to ask such relevant question. What do you think is the basic, though you and me know what is the basic of a financial planning or the, say, investment, so to say? What should be the right, I would say, starting point when you're starting your investment journey?
So even though if theoretically I'll give the right advice, nobody's going to follow it. So I'll give a more practical part of the advice. You must experiment and do whatever you like. But as long as
also a certain age and with certain amount of money.
It's because so young people, this answer is for young people.
Yes.
I would say anything in the age group 18 to 25, 26. And if at that stage you are experimenting, then you must know it's experimentation.
Yes.
It gives you great experience. It does open up your horizon in terms of what possibilities there are. As long as in your mind you segregate that, listen, I'm doing this. Just because you get a couple of trades right, don't start thinking that now I'm the king of this and I don't need to work anymore and this is how I'm going to create wealth. That's not going to happen. And secondly, a very clear segregation between how much money am I willing to lose. Because once again, at that age, I'm investing because I want to go on a trip with my friends. I'm investing because I want to buy a new gadget. So even if you don't get there, and suppose you lose the money and you don't end up buying that gadget or don't end up going for a trip, it's not a life-changing decision. So as long as you limit to that, the second piece of advice I would do within this experimentation, leave F&O out. Because over there, what you're doing is the normal tendency. And I'm not, there are many reports which have happened in the last 2-3 years. 98% people have lost money. Now, the problem here is, like I said earlier, if you make money, you start putting more money in those trades and you lose that discipline. And if you lose money, then it hurts. So then you end up, what you end up doing is that you start taking more money, you start borrowing money. Because then when you lost a little bit of money, it really pains, because when you say, oh, I must get this money back, that's when you start taking undue risks. And when you do take undue risks, we, to a large extent, we know within the industry what has happened, the amount of loans people have taken to cover those, the amount of, recently I heard about a young guy whose father was a CA and he ended up with small amount of money and 60 lakhs to recover that money, he kept putting money in. So these are not isolated.
This is basically
It is absolutely leverage will do that, and you must understand the power. It starts off very small,
Yeah.
but it is like a gambling addiction.
Absolutely.
And these are things you should stay away from. If you can keep that discipline, I think it's okay. Crypto is great. Little bit of trading is great. Tips are great. If you make money, great. Along with that, there's always a remedy. And that is, while you're doing this, start one boring investment.
Okay.
Don't touch that.
Yeah.
Don't
Shut it, forget it. I feel
you have to do that. And so if you balance that out, it can lead to a better experience as far as investing is concerned.
So for a 25-year so now we are talking about that, just taking the little bit of a, subject further on that. So what is right for a 25-year-old, so app, influencer or an advisor?
No, so for when you're starting off, you really don't require to see common sense and logic.
Yeah.
You don't require an influencer to tell you anything. You don't require an app to really give you any recommendations. I think keep it simple. And I think when I say keep it simple today, there are again investments. It's very difficult to keep simple. You'll get advice on active funds and passive and index and crypto and all of that. So very difficult. But I would just say take something where you're not involved in decision making. So most likely what suits you best is a mutual fund. Don't get too much into sectoral, thematic, hot selling, tide, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Something like a flexi cap fund is something you should start off with. What is the advantage of a flexi cap? You have a person who is a fund manager who's been doing this for 30 years, who has a team of identifying funds for you.
Yeah.
He will take all those right decisions. And in a flexi cap fund, the fund manager has a choice of taking exposure to any sector, any theme, any capitalization. It allows them the flexibility. So they will take all the right decisions for you. And that's a very boring investment, but it's the right way of doing it.
But boring things makes money actually, right? And
so for my son, when I started first investment and the only investment that he has is in a fund, which is a flexi cap fund.
Perfect. Either an SIP in a mutual fund. I mean, that's the safest. Yeah. Absolute. So like,
and don't even think about
keep it simple, not stupid, right?
Where if so much of inflation, so much of complication, simplify it. Yeah. Make your life easier. Allow yourself, I keep saying it's not what money allows you to buy. It's about what money allows you to be. You have to have money to live your life properly, to allow you the choices.
Yes.
The problem with not having money is that your choices get limited.
Yes.
There is no safety net. Now the choices, for example, when you're at that age, when you're talking about 25, you want to explore what you want to do in life. You want to explore a career. You might want to change jobs. Now, when you have no safety net, even taking that risk. So every decision in your life that you're taking at that early stage, because everybody, see, when I was 25, I really didn't know what I wanted to do in my life. It's only when you go and explore and you start learning, then you figure out what you're good at, and it takes time, right?
It's discovery process.
So money needs to buy you that time and has to allow you the flexibility of freedom of those choices, of being able to, take a sabbatical for 2 months, leaving a job, switching to a new one, so many things.
But taking loan for an investment, it's, I don't think so. It's a great idea, or what do you think otherwise?
So I think it's a horrible idea.
It's horrible
because it comes at a cost, right?
Yeah.
So again, you'll have influencers who will tell you that you are getting loan against securities at 10%, market will give you 14%.
Yeah.
It's just an arbitrage of 4%. And it's the worst lie on the planet. Markets don't work like that.
Yeah.
Secondly, there are years that you'll pay the cost of interest, but the market will not give you a return. But it's eating into your compounding. You're much better off having no loans and putting the investment. Rather than that, I would say, if you ever want to, suppose, you are investing in the market, there are times the market will go through cycles. It might not give you the optimal returns that you're looking for. You might have a certain shortfall in your goal. Let's say I want to plan for my children's education when they turn 20.
Yeah.
And I had plan of going to, let's say, 1.5 crores. And my investments have only given me 1.2 crores.
Yeah.
But that's one, phenomenal, from 0 to 1.2. And secondly, that 30 lakhs, at that point, I can take a small loan and do that. So,
so bridging the gap is
for your goals
is
about a good idea, not for investor.
I borrow it and then I put it. It's like all in playing casino.
Absolutely. And I think even when it comes to goal, I keep telling people that for all other goals, you'll get bridge funding.
Yes.
There's one goal you will not get any loan, and that is your retirement.
Yeah.
So your most boring and your longest investment should be towards your retirement.
Absolutely.
People, just like compounding is very powerful, inflation is very powerful.
It is.
Unfortunately,
That is certain. That's the only thing which is certain. here.
it is. And sadly, once again, when it comes to India, a lot of endowment policies, life insurance policies are sold.
That's a separate chapter, Harsh. I want to now cover a different episode for that.
But it's very concerning. Yeah, it's very what they say is you pay so many years, and at the end of 30 years, every month you will get 40,000. I'm just giving you a basic.
agree.
But after 30 years, 40,000 rupees will buy you two samosas.
Nothing. Absolutely.
It just doesn't work. You have to beat inflation. You have to take that risk. I keep saying, sometimes not taking risk is the biggest risk that you're taking in life.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely. Harsh, AI की जो reality की जो हमने बात की, अब now you have so much of an experience, this bionic approach you guys have. So does AI strategies work in your experience? What is the right approach, basically?
So anybody who is not looking at the opportunity and the solutions AI is going to bring and is bringing on the table is losing out on a great opportunity. We started on this digitalization tech bit when nobody in the country was thinking about it. Everybody moved to a DIY model, but while it might work on e-commerce where you are marketing and selling and it's a transactional piece, in investing it really hasn't helped. And all the models in the world which were DIY at some point moved to a human engagement. So I think there are both sides to it. I am a firm believer in AI. I am a firm believer that technology will play more and more of a critical role and really will enable people to do their jobs a lot better. It will free up time. It will make conversations and relationships stronger. So not using AI, according to me, is foolhardy.
There are two things here, Harsh. One, that me as a naive investor using AI as a tool and then taking decision versus I go and approach to people like you who knows what to ask from the AI, what algo to run and what exactly is the context there, as you rightly said initially. So is it a good idea that I still approach you as a human advisor who is in turn using the AI? Or do you think, no, I should, or I gain maturity. Once I gain maturity, then I can start using the tools on my own?
See, there'll be always two kind of people. Some people will always feel that they can save money and do it themselves. And some people are successful at it. So I'm not saying that's impossible. But in my experience, the wealthiest people, the most knowledgeable people, the most intelligent people all take advice and they have advisors to them. People who have crores and crores and crores, very large treasuries, family offices hire a set of people to work for them and advising them about their money. So if those guys, if CEOs of fund houses have advisors who manage their investments. So one is, I'm not diminishing the capability of a person to take decisions and to do research. That's highly possible. But there are two parts. Like I said, a doctor will never operate on their own children. It's not that they are not capable of it. The behavior is into the... And I've said before that, we are our behavior is our worst enemy when it comes to investing. And it's not that I'm not trying to show that the person is weak. But money is very important. Losing money, gaining money, there's so much of information today. War has broken out. Now in the last 5-7 years, look at what all has happened. It's actually almost inhuman to ignore all the noise and news and remain invested. But the people who remain invested have made the most amount of money.
That's great.
And the people who remained invested were all those who got support and advice. Now, I think in India specifically, when it comes to investing, there are direct plans and regular plans. So a lot of people, unfortunately, at your and mine retail starting of investing level felt that by going direct, you can save money. The idea of this all was that bringing direct in so that people have a choice of what kind of advice they want. So you have RIs where they invest through direct plans but charge you for advice separately. Those are for large portfolios.
Yes.
For regular plans, have advice and support built into them. And what people forget, in the hurry to save money, in the end, you're not buying आलू प्याज के 1+1 free है तुम 2 kg ले लिया. You are investing for long-term success and important goals, so you will require support. There is nothing without it. No, it's so straight answer to your question. There cannot be successful investing because that takes a long time. You have to deal with extreme volatility, and you need experts on your side.
Yeah.
Can you save money by going? Absolutely.
Yeah.
By decline.
Probability of losing is also higher.
So it's not just me. Almost every report in the world, people miss out on very important fact that investing in India is amongst the cheapest in the world. So somehow, maybe we have this baggage once again of insurance, where the insurance agent ends up, there's a huge amount of commission involved.
Yeah.
But that's not the case for other investment classes. Now, for example, even when I talk about regular plans, they are typically 0.5, 0.7% higher than a direct plan. But it comes bundled with a lot of support, advice, people to talk to, getting an investment plan in place, getting your goals in place. And it's not about beating somebody else or getting higher returns. We all come from a background where we have not inherited wealth.
Yes.
So I think a lot of confusion is there between wealth creation and wealth management. We are taking examples of wealth management and putting that into wealth creation. I don't have any wealth, but I want to create wealth for the future.
That's correct.
I don't have the money today, but I want to save enough money so that I can live my life freely, so that money allows me to be what I want to be.
Actually.
But I don't have that wealth right now. So, so much of conversation around asset allocation. When I don't have money and I'm saving on building a corpus, I don't require asset allocation. I need to take the right amount of risk. So a lot of, unfortunately, in the beginning I said, so much of rocket science and complicated jargon has got involved in investing, where the entire narrative have shifted to you need to get a tip and you need to select. That is not the case for successful investing.
You're right. Absolutely.
So I think as an advisor or as somebody who we help people invest, one is to establish context, really set the right expectations, do our research, prioritize what things which are important. You might want to, of course, there's a lifestyle. You might want to spend money on your lifestyle, but you also have to set aside money for your future goals. So getting all of that in place, can an individual do it? Some people can, but they are very far and few in between. I have been investing myself for a very long time and so many years in the industry, and I struggle at times. I struggle if I've invested in a stock and it's going down, that urge to invest more. I know it's not right, but sometimes I get that urge, let me average out. But then even after so many years, those natural biases come in. And recently I read an interview where one of the CEOs of a AMC was talking about the fact that he's been able to retire earlier purely because of his advisor. He's the CEO of an AMC.
Yes. So, Sarathi is very important, right?
Absolutely.
It's like having a Sarathi, who can.
But at the same time, if the Sarathi, you have to be careful there. I have not, coming back to the point, I have so many examples of our industry where people, wolves in sheep's clothing, they'll come and talk to you about your life goals and how much they'll do, and in the end sell you a bima.
Yes.
Right. So and we all know that is not in the interest of the client. So even with when selecting, one, you have to take a decision whether you want to select somebody to help you. The second is, even when you take that decision of say I want advice, you still have to be very careful. Our industry is full of mis-selling and malpractices. It's very easy to fake a marketing campaign and trust, and in the end do something which is completely against what the person interests are. So you have to apply common sense and logic, and even then you can't be completely blind. Okay, just because the person calls himself a financial advisor, all the decisions that he's going to take are aligned to what my interests are.
Correct. Harsh, will include a little bit of questions from our audience. So there's a girl called Anushka. She's writing us from Indore. Why do I need a human if Chat GPT can plan my SIPs?
So once again, I think you must use ChatGPT. To a large extent, if your questions are right, in your starting off journey, it will enable you to start off. A DIY platform will help you transact, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm assuming she's young, and these are all great things. And there is no requirement, like I said in the beginning, for an elaborate plan at this point, any which ways. I think, like I said, this is the time to be a little more carefree. I'm anyway worried about all the, in today's generation, the amount of social pressure, cameras everywhere, all of that. So much of information bombarded, at 21, this is a unicorn, he's a billionaire, he's a millionaire. I think don't stress yourself out. The idea, I think, at that age is to make a start. But ask ChatGPT the right questions.
That's very important.
I think my first instruction to ChatGPT is I don't want to be speculative.
Yes.
Give me a good fund where I can invest and I don't need to think about it for the next 10 years.
Good.
So if you frame your questions really well, I think ChatGPT will be able to give you good advice to start off. These are small amounts. It will allow you to experiment.
And also ask what are the risks I'm playing
Absolutely.
with,
Absolutely. The mistake that you can make is asking ChatGPT, give me the best performing, highest return, top selling. These are terrible questions to ask ChatGPT.
So you should have that wisdom,
And once, I think, it's like asking somebody to become spiritual. See, when the time is right, you become spiritual. When the time is right, you will have goals. You will have responsibilities. When the time is right, you'll ask for advice.
Wonderful. So hope, Anushka, you might have got your answer. The next question has come from Rakesh from Ahmedabad. Can algorithms beat human intuition? When do humans add the most value?
So intuition is a gray area. Now, intuition everybody can have, whether it's right or wrong is a big challenge. You can have a completely wrong intuition as well.
Yeah, that's good.
So algorithms cannot obviously be intuitive. They can at best really work very well on large amounts of data, filter it very well, detect patterns. Context and intuition is something that they cannot bring at this point. I still think we are very far away from singularity. When that happens, maybe my answer will change, but I don't see that happening. So I think there are strengths and weakness. Intuition and context is a weakness of AI at this point.
Wonderful. So Harsh, that's my rapid question here. What do you think is the ideal mix between tech and the human in the financial journey or investment journey?
So I can give our example. Because we are perhaps the country's only bionic platform.
That's correct.
So to a large extent, we have pretty much everything which is driven through softwares. Our research is completely software driven. We have algorithms built in. We also have behavioral side flags or algorithms built in to detect and help advisors. We have our investment managers also are AI enabled to dispense better quality and value. So it's a mix really. I think anything which takes work off the table for an investment manager to have more detailed conversation, for the platform to absorb that conversation, that's very important, right? One is a static software which just dispenses information. One is which is dynamic, which absorbs information and has the ability to customize. So I think AI is a very loosely used word today.
That's correct.
A lot of AI, it is nothing but a chatbot, and there is no artificial intelligence involved. There can be a lot of natural stupidity involved in that, and you have to be very careful about that. So AI,
use your intelligence at least.
So because there's a AI, buzzword going around, everybody's jumping onto that. Not everything, even a chat GPT, sure, is an evolved version of an agent. It does process information very well. What a Google search versus, let's say, a chat GPT will give you very different answers because they process information differently. Are they AI at this level, not really. There are different AI tools which are far more
expensive also. You need to exactly.
They're not even available as you and me.
Yeah, to the people at large. Yeah.
So I think this will evolve. So those tools will become mainstream. But I think once again, I don't really have a percentage, but I think to a large extent, it is when we say bionic, it's when humans and technology merge. It's very difficult to differentiate where is. So technology will take part in almost everything we do. The more it enables us to do better, the more involved it will be in every aspect of our life.
Yeah.
But in the end, can we think of our life without a computer? When computers were launched, these are the exact things questions which came up, that everybody's going to be jobless, humans will have no role. But look at how amazingly computers have allowed humans to evolve. To do their work better, right? To add more value. I think we will see an acceleration of that bit.
So there'll always be you are saying it'll be like a balanced approach.
I think to a large extent, it would be difficult to segregate. So everything that we do when we sit, when we are doing research, when we're doing analysis, when you're doing our daily work, the information which is getting fed in, filtration of that, what to do, what not to do, having a ring fence on what are the right things you want to do. So it'll help everywhere. But two things, once again, the warmth, the emotions, the intuition, and just the warmth of a conversation and knowing somebody. Now you can take that information and once again feed it into AI.
Yeah.
And that will help AI evolve and get better.
That's
but I still need to have those conversations with you for my AI too. So AI cannot do anything without that bit.
Absolutely. So that's what I'm saying. That's where the human angle is important, because you will feed the information to the AI.
The weird part is humans will still be able to work without AI.
That's correct.
But AI cannot work without humans.
That's the line I was looking for.
It is impossible.
Absolutely.
AIs are worthless without human involvement.
So there will always be a need of a human before we make.
What if there was nobody to put up a question into ChatGPT?
Wonderful.
What value would ChatGPT be?
Great, Harsh. It's been such a wonderful conversation, and I think my younger audience will pick a lot of wisdom and the insights what you shared today. Bionic is the future, but a balance is important. So thank you so very much for enlightening my audience, and it's always been a privilege to meet you in person.
Thank you. Pleasure's all mine. Thank you so much.
So what did we learn? Apps manage your money, humans manage you. Algorithms can predict markets, advisors protect behavior. The future is not man versus machine. It is man plus machine. The best investor is neither fully automated nor fully emotional. They are bionic, powered by both logic and guidance. So if this episode made you rethink who is steering your finances, like, subscribe, and share it with someone who lets an app decide their money. Tell us in the comments or send us a voice message on our WhatsApp number. Would you trust a bot with your next investment? This is On the Point, no jargon, just clarity. See you in the next one.